Hi everyone, welcome to our event. This event is brought to you by DataTalks.Club, which is a community of people who love data. We have weekly events, and today is one of such events. If you want to find out more about the events we have, there is a pinned link in the live chat. So no, there is a link in the description. So go there, check it out. It says our events, and you will see all the events we have in our pipeline. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way you get notifications about future streams like the one we have today. And then last but not least, join our amazing Slack community where you can hang out with other data enthusiasts. During today's interview, you can ask any question you want. There is a pinned link in the live chat. Click on that link, ask your questions, and we will be covering these questions during the interview. So that's the usual intro I do. Now,
Good intro.
yeah, thank you. I think I came up with it like once, and then ever since I use it. Okay. We can start if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hi, everyone. Today we will talk about the journey of Dashel from going from doing semiconductors to machine learning. And yeah, Dashel. Sorry, there are some changes in the document. Like I don't understand where to. Like I usually just read from it, and then. Okay.
No
Anyways,
worries, Alexei.
today on the podcast, on the interview, we are joined by Dashel Ruiz, who is a data analyst, ML engineer, software engineer, and ML Zoomcamp graduate. Dashel's career has spanned semiconductors manufacturing, software engineering, data analytics, and teaching. At Microchip Technology, he worked with complex engineering and production data before moving into software and machine learning. Today, he teaches programming and data at major US universities as a lead instructor at Thrive DX. So, welcome to our interview. Welcome to our podcast.
I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. And for me, it's always interesting to talk with graduates of our courses. But I'm also interested in learning about your career path. So it's I wouldn't say super unusual, but it's still not very common. So you started in the semiconductors industry, then you worked in software and data. Can you tell us more about your career journey so far?
Yeah, maybe you're right. It's not completely maybe common. Because even before the semiconductor, I was a professional musician. Um, I came to the US where I'm living now in 2012 as a political refugee. And when I get here, I was a professional musician. I studied 9 years classical music, classical
Mm.
guitar, and I was just playing music all day.
Hmm. Where are
But
you
I
from
want to,
originally?
I'm from Cuba.
Okay. So are you in Florida right now or where?
No, I'm in Portland. No.
Okay. Because it's common. Like I actually you're not the first person from Cuba with who I speak. But that person lives in Florida right now.
Yeah, it's completely common. I went to Florida like every Cuban, but I didn't like the city that much. And it's too many Cubans. That's the problem in Florida. Too many Cubans. And I was sent here. I was in this program of refugees, and the U.S. government put you in different states.
Hmm.
And of the states that they made me to select, I think
Hmm.
Oregon, Portland was the less cold place.
Hmm.
Was the reason I choose here, and I love it here,
Hmm.
really.
It's actually a
But when I
nice
got,
place,
yeah,
right?
it's really nice. It's really nice. It's not that as cold as I think I had Pennsylvania and any other another place that was really cold. And we don't like cold. Right? Cuba is
Yeah.
like summer the
Hmm.
whole year. Yeah. And I got here, but I couldn't speak the language. I didn't speak English, and it was very hard to do anything. Um, and I think after a year, I finally find a job in Microchip that have a fab here in Oregon in production. Actually, the position was expediter, was just walking with a little car with wafers on top as you have to deliver manually to some places, to some areas. And that helped me to understand the flow of wafers through the fab. That was really a job that I have to walk a lot,
Hmm.
like 25, 26,000 steps every single day. Was
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little work. And I was moving around to for different positions until I got to a tech position, process engineer tech position. And there was when I finally got all the things with semiconductor, because until that moment I was working in production. But
Hmm.
now at that time, I started working with engineers running
Hmm.
tests, running experiments, and finally working with data.
Hmm.
Um, and that was interesting.
Hmm. Your original education was engineering, right?
No, my original education was music.
Music,
I
okay.
did
Like,
the
but how did you like? First, you started as a driver, right? Expediter. So basically, you
Yeah.
were moving things in a truck. How did you manage to actually get an engineering position? Did you study in the meantime?
Yeah, I decided I went to college to learn English. That was
Ah,
the
okay.
first step. Um, and I wanted to be in a different position for several reasons. Finally, be an engineer. Engineer makes like more money, more responsibility. But the other thing is like I always, even with the music, I always wanted to know why and how. And if you wanted to know those, you have to move out to production and start to do something, to start to learning to how how everything is happening. And as a semiconductor is like it's like magic. It's really the way the chips are made are completely insane. Is physics, is math. Everybody knows that. Huge companies are making a lot of chips, but for if you don't have that engineer background with a lot of physics and mathematics, it's like it's like a little weird because it's pressure, gases. You don't know everything that is
Yeah.
going on,
Like even
and
for
it's
me,
very interesting.
I am an engineer technically, but I'm a software engineer by education. So if I needed to work with semiconductors or whatever, I will be completely lost. But it's kind of like there it's engineering and here it's engineering, but for you, because your background was music, it was like a completely different world, right?
Completely different. Wasn't that hard? Maybe by curiosity. I always wanted to be like my friends were or software engineers outside of music, software engineers or architects. My friends in Cuba were like uh, engineers, almost all of them. Like I think half of the architects, other half of the software engineers. And I always, well, with them, I was the musician, but I knew the homework, the C++, and they were doing this and they were doing that, and I was there. Maybe they were doing a homework that was hard, and I was waiting for them to finish or whatever to go out and drink a little bit and play some music or go to a party.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that, right? And finally, I was able to do something close to that.
Hmm.
And even that was the what threw me to data, because something interesting in Microchip, and I don't know if the same on other semiconductors, all the process of the chips happen in these tools, that is huge machines that do a lot of processes, and you have different areas. I think I worked in like 4 different areas in Microchip, but all the data, every time that you need to run experiment or to get the data, to get a result, analyze the data, you have to check the logs files for the tools. They have like thousands of lines of data coming out, and it's very very complex because for every second that happen in the process, you have the amount of gases that are used in that process, what tool it is, what platter. Some tools have like 6 steps in different places, and everything that happened is logged. Like every single detail, the pressure, the gases, the amount, like if a gas is going from, I don't know, from 0 to 200 pressures, like every detail, every millisecond is recorded. Then the logs files for 1 hour is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of data, and you have to do that manually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
it's
you have
terrible.
to sit there and with the cursor, like move to be seeing everything's going on, and was like, oh, it's too complex because it's not
Mm-hmm.
only the data. Sometimes you see log file, an error, a message, this happened, but it's really, really, really complex because it's way more
Mm-hmm.
data that you think. It's not only like every detail, every single detail that is going in the process is logged, or and what should be going or happening in that step. And that was a really uh, eye-opening
Mm-hmm.
to data in a semiconductor. It's way more complex, and I'm assuming that because we have Intel here in Oregon too, right? Intel is close. Intel is huge, and I'm assuming they don't do the steps manually like we used to do it in Microchip
Mm-hmm.
because it was insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you learned to parse these logs, or how did you get into software?
Yeah, in the beginning, um, I get in software. I decided to go to maybe like you to go for the grad. I was doing the college. I wanted to be a psychologist because I liked psychology,
Interesting.
but it was too hard, and I like software at the same time, and I decided to go for the software part, right? The computer science classes. But I'm in this position, I'm getting this data, and you have to do that every single day. I was working in this area. The name is CMP. That is chemical mechanical planation. Is when you grow wafers, usually the chips, you grow the oxide or the material you grow that, and to make sure that everything is like the shape, you have to mechanical a way, like make that planning of that wafer, and that is a very very sensitive step, and you have to check those logs every time that something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do that manually and make the calculation to fix the wafer or fix that chips, right? Manually. I have my notebook and I have my calculation in my hand. And I had to do that every single day because I used to work from 6:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. Like, like, I had to do that every single day, every single time because we always have issues, and I have to do that completely manually, check the logs manually, and I talk with my supervisor and say, hey, you know why I'm doing this every single day. I can write an application that I don't have to make the calculations. I know that by memory. At that time, after like 6 months, I could see how thick was the wafer at that time. And I manually I was okay. This 3 more seconds, or this one is 4 more seconds, and I was right. There's too many times, and I was like, we need to make sure that we have procedure to do this, and I can write a software to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very happy about that, and I just wrote everything. I use Java FX with Java to make the UI, and when everything was done, they didn't want to use it.
Okay.
When everything was working, the people from software for the IT department, they didn't want to use it because it was in Java and they wanted to use C# or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it was like I was very frustrated about that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like, why, right? And at
Mm-hmm.
that time, that was my last position in Yale. I talked with this other person in Yale, and I was talking. They were trying to find a master degree person, but we started talking about how he was asking me something about the job, and I was talking about this thing, everything was going on, and the data that I was parsing all the time and writing the Excels or everything I was doing manually that I was telling him, hey, we could do that automatically. We can write something fast in a couple of in 1 week. We didn't have ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, like think in 3 days or less than that. And he was like, I'm trying to find someone to help me to analyze the data with Yale and did this and did that. Are you okay moving? He's like, I'm okay moving.
Mhm.
And I just moved from the technical engineering position to the engineering position without a degree at that time. Uh, and now is the last position I took with Microchip. Was working in Yale. Now there, I was able to, because I knew the data, to start doing the analytics and the engineering data part of that. It was very complex because, like I said, it was too many data about too many details and was very, very, very complicated. You have to go to the tools. Same. The engineers don't have access to the data outside of the fab. You have to go inside the fab, put the suit, go to the tool, and do them manually. They have to go there. If they run something they want to know, an experiment, you have to do that. Or at that time, if you have like a technician like me at that time, you can rely on that person. Hey, could you please collect this data? But you have to make sure that the person is collecting the data and know what they are doing. Um, and this is the way I finally get to yield,
Mhm.
just for a frustration of, I
Mhm.
don't want to do this every single time because it's the
Yeah,
same thing. Um, and I'm just bored to do the same thing. It's just I can
yeah,
do.
I can
I
imagine.
was thinking I can do more stuff like just making calculations by hand when 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 I know what to do with them. And a procedure because in a fab like Microchip that make $1 billion a quarter, like $4 or $5 billion a year, you have to make sure you follow the procedure in the way. And I was like, we can do that with the software, just
Mhm.
simple, You put the thickness of the wafer, and you get the time for that you need to process the wafer.
Mhm.
But at the end, I think that never happened. Even when I moved, they never built that software. I think
Yeah, so the thing you actually wrote, it was never implemented by devs, right?
no, in that area, no. I wrote other stuff with the data in year that was years, but and I have a couple of happy projects that finally the people adopted to use it. But yeah, with then, and I wasn't using data. My name was software engineer, but finally I learned even in when I was doing the Zoomcamp that I really was a data engineer more than a software engineer because I was that all that data finally have access to that data, and I
Mhm.
was just writing scripts in Python to clean that, and I put that in an Oracle database, writing small or Flask application or other
Yeah,
type
sounds
applications
like
that
data
that
engineering.
they have access. Yeah, at the end was that like more automatization
Mhm.
uh, for my supervisor. Just because in Yale you try to make sure you have the data of the whole fab, what is going on, how many things fails, and how many things pass.
Mhm.
And every request was, we need we need to get this data. How do we get it? And my all those years in different positions in Microchip gave me access to how every area works and how the data was behind those data because I was curious, so we knew what's going on. And that gave me an advantage with people in the fab because they were engineers or in an area, but they really didn't know what's going on in other area. I've been moving in production and technician in other places, gave me the opportunity to see, okay, this is going on, this is what you get the data. This is the issue with this. This is what the engineers want. This was what the data is collected. And now they're asking me to get something, and I know where to go, who to ask. I was able to talk with the production person. Hey, what do you think is going on here?
Mhm.
Or go to the engineer and say, hey, how do I get access to the tool, or the person that fixed the tools?
Mhm.
Because some of them work with me too, right? And I was able to ask questions and get answers and be able to be successful with the data part of the job.
How did you become interested in machine learning and data in general? Like, I mean,
Oh,
yes, you were doing data engineering, and you said that when you were doing experiments, you need to analyze a lot of data. Is this how it led to think, maybe machine learning can help me, or something else?
yeah, I think the last year undergrad, uh, we have to make the big project at the end. And I think I was trying to find something, and because I think one of the last classes in computer science was AI. Um, they want us to make a software to use that could use AI. And I used um, I think the data set of the that is everybody uses in the beginning to the house prices in
Mhm.
and is it really easy in Washington is state um in I think in Seattle
Mhm.
I think was the first was the Seattle data set, and it was interesting. I think it was interesting to predict something and to know what is going to happen, right?
Mhm.
Based something in price. And when I was getting all this data, one question that you always ask in semiconductor or any job that's something you repeat, a process that just repeats and repeat all the time, is when an error is going to happen. That was always a questions with my supervisor. Is we know that this happened. Where and how we predict this error. That way we fix the tool before that, or or we need to do something. That way we have a better yield and have more sales, right? And that was I can use these to be able to do that because until in Microchip you have just a schedule of test sometimes, or just what they call quals, is just to check the tool that is ready for production. And for sometimes they have a tool have a qual every 2 weeks or every 1 week or every month. It depends of the tool, how many wafers do you run in the tool. But sometimes you feel that you have to make the calculations in the amount of wafers that were processed instead of time, or find a way why you need to do that. And with the amount of data that you have, I thought, okay, maybe it's possible to do that. And I worked in the project that somebody did something like that. Um, that was how many wafers at risk. At risk was because a tool can have to process, I don't know how many wafers every hour, depending on the tool. And because of the quals, they wanted to know, okay, every, for example, 1,000 wafers that this tool process, we need to check that is ready, everything is okay, right? The amount of particles, amount of gases, we have to check that. Um, and in the process, I was just write a software that check all the database in production for the whole fab. That took me like 3 months to do that. And count the amount of wafers, process steps, and to tell you, depending of the area, how many wafers are at risk for different tools. But after I have all that data, I was thinking I can write something like this, like we predict how many wafers will be at risk if we keep working at this pace, and I don't need to wait because I can tell this the because if I know in advance that is more than 2 weeks, if it, for example 10 days, and my prediction is good enough, like me for me was 85% was good enough. Now I can tell the engineers, hey, run your quals every 10 days, not every 15 days, right? Less wafers at risk, less waste, more money, right? And and that was the beginning for the machine learning because I think remember running some stuff, but I didn't have the knowledge to do it, I think. And I was missing stuff because sometimes you run in the beginning, you run some, I don't know, a Bayesian algorithm or maybe in a random tree, and you find that you have 65% or and you make some tweaks and suddenly you have 85%. You don't know what you did or what happened. And at that point, I cannot use this algorithm even if I get the result that I want because I don't know what happened, right? And I cannot explain to my supervisor, this is the steps that I took, this is, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I need to go to learn this stuff, to learn analytics and machine learning, to be able to make better predictions. And I fell in love of that because I don't know, it's more interesting for me, it was more interesting than make softwares that do something that do CRUD operations. Feel like was the CRUD operation was a little boring at that time. It's like, yeah, they're asking just to put
Yeah,
data and take out data.
yeah.
Machine learning
For me,
was
it
more
was
involved.
similar. Yeah, I was also doing maybe a little bit more complicated
Mm.
stuff than crowd, but
Mm.
yeah, like I remember this feeling like, okay, there is data, and then you can make predictions based on this data. This is so amazing, right?
Yeah, is and that's what is very interesting because to be able to understand the process of the wafers that I was trying to, I was taking courses to understand all the process and the atoms and to make how they bound and uh, was too hard. I needed to take really more math and physics classes that I
Mm,
took for computer science. And I was like, I'm not, I don't want to do that, right? But I was thinking, but it's not really interesting, at least not a microchip. Microchip makes technology that is old technology, semiconductor for your blender, for your refrigerator, for your car. But the new chips, for the computers is Samsung, is Intel, is TMC. Um, like you're not gonna be in the front edge of the field, and the data was there, right? And when you do something and you get the result, um, you get the hit like I did something good. When I finished that project of the risk and I have the the risk only from tool per area, that my supervisor was happy. But when I decided to make one page with the stats, basic stats, range, mean, max, standard deviation, and some prediction, right? Just to make some spices in there. He was very happy. He was like, yeah, this is nice because it's not only the idea of predict, okay, if in 2 weeks at this pace, in this tool, we will have 85% with plus minus, I don't know, 100 wafer, this amount of risk. And
mm,
you know that you have a problem with this tool already, and now you're watching the tool to make
mhm,
sure that okay, in 3 days between 6 and 12, we need to run something. We need to check if it's
mhm,
where we know it should be, we can run the quals and that's it. If for
mm.
some reason we stop processing because we have an issue, we can wait a little bit, right? But you know what is probably is going to happen in the future, and you can plan for that. And they were very happy with for 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 that. And I was okay. This is something good. I can do more the data stuff.
How do
Mm.
you, I think I already asked you before we started this conversation. Uh, do you remember how you came across our course, Machine Learning
Mm.
Zoomcamp?
I think I said I don't remember well because it was the
Yeah.
first year of my daughter, and it's blurry. But I think um, I don't I maybe I was one of these days I was trying to find how to learn more machine learning, and or maybe for someone in the school, because at that time I think I was in the on in grad school already, because as soon as I finished, I wait for a year. My daughter was born, and I just went to grad school right away, or I think a month before she was born. Um, and maybe because I went to ASU, Arizona State University, for computer science masters, and maybe someone I think remember well someone in the class I was talking. I have this other person. Yeah, was him. I was talking with this. We were studying for it's a logic class. I have to double check because it's prepositional logic in programming. We're using a weird language um, that some university in Europe uses. And I was talking about machine learning. And he told me, hey, could you just check this out? And I think I checked one of the videos that was public about the courses. Another time I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit to learn more about that.
Mhm.
Um, and I was one day I was like, let me check this out, because what happened with internet is like 95% of the stuff is not good. Is
Mhm.
or is good for people that are in the beginning of their career, like just to learn how data types in Python or how the for loop works. But when
Mhm.
you go more a little advanced, and I already have finished my grad undergrad, there's not a lot of good stuff, like nothing for the middle at that time. And I was like, I was checking, I went to the GitHub page, and I thought like, that's good, but I'm gonna wait until he begins the in
Mhm.
September the course, because I don't wanna I want the paper, and I wanted to do it with other people too.
Mhm.
The idea is awesome that it's there, but I wanted to be more engaged with the course. Feels the pressure that I have to do the homework, I have to do this, I have to send this, I will ask questions,
Mhm.
and I wanted to have that, and I waited, and I thought that was a really good decision to
Mhm.
take the course and to wait, because I think I told you before, is so far for me the best course ever, and
That's nice to hear.
I already I from grad school I have access to that data camp, like free, and I have access to Coursera,
Mhm.
and I have access to LinkedIn Learning still for the school to be. And the other one is there's another platform that they have this. It's the same idea of LinkedIn Learning, and all of them they have really good courses sometimes, but in comparison with the quality of data talks is is sometimes it's not even close. I think the structure is just the best for learning, and is not easy
Mhm.
if you are not following something that you just follow the project and get the code in GitHub is done. Like it's done, and you guys change the answers, and every time that the new course begins, like you cannot check the previous one I just said. It's
Mhm.
like
Yeah, we do this on purpose.
yeah, and that's I was thinking like, oh, this is a good, because I will think like somebody was use that uh to and have the learning public. That was really good too, because that keeps you engaged. For me, was a little like I want to show people that I'm doing this right, and that gives you this the push to continue sometimes, because sometimes you get tired, sometimes it's like I don't want to do this, or something doesn't work. You don't remember. I remember once time, I don't know, I don't know if, yeah, was in the second part after the
Midterm.
the midterm project, we moved to use TensorFlow,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing this in a Mac. And
Mm-hmm.
I have issues to running TensorFlow in
Mm-hmm.
like 1 minute, and was a pain. And at the end, I couldn't run it. I just moved. I have a PC. I moved to the PC and continue and finished it in the
Yeah.
PC. And I remember talking with you about something is not, and you answered the the Slack. It's like, oh, even he answers. For me, it's like, he answers and everything. And I remember talking about uh, running everything in a container, and hey, you asked me if I can write the documentation that I didn't do it. I was like, it's too much work for that. And somebody, when I checked there, was doing something. It's like, I don't have to even do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of having people in Slack that can answer the questions that you have. The Q&A is awesome. The bot is working really well. And the thing for students, like I really admire you, and seeing that the person that is in the class that is teaching you be able with that many students to be able to answer, to be there when is just make a huge difference. Nevertheless, I think the material, the way it's taught, is better than other platforms because it's not and changes. Technology changes, and some of the models will change with that. And at the end, the practicality of the data talks. That is the huge difference because I finished, I don't know, a course in Coursera with, I don't remember, huge university. Um, you can use that. You cannot use the course to do something. You have some knowledge, right? But you can do it. Even I took 6 month boot camp in a university in Mexico. I did it in Spanish because I wanted to learn in Spanish. And one issue that have that university, any other university in Mexico, and the same here in the US, is like, yeah, how the algorithm works, the code to roll to write the forest regressor at the end, but you cannot use it. Everything stays in a Jupyter notebook and never goes out of that, right? It's just there. You run an inference, you get your result, but it's a Jupyter notebook. The difference with DataTalk is that looks like your goal is to the person that passed uses that in
Mm-hmm.
real life to put that in a one model to put in a Flask, the application, and get the result and get your REST API. Simple, no authentication, just basic, but that gives you an idea. Okay, I can write this, and you said the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a huge difference, like a huge difference. Be able to use the cloud providers, to use Google Cloud, to integrate the tools to in the process is just make a huge difference with the quality of the course that you can use this when you finish. Maybe you cannot get a job because I'm seeing the people worried about getting the job right away. But what it's going to give you is the ability to really do a really good project that you can show a person that you can do the job, but it's going to give you the tools and you will be able to use it. Like if you are in a company, you can write something good and nice that works. It's not a Jupyter notebook. And you can show your supervisor and get that data job that you wanted because something is working, right? It's not a Jupyter notebook like, I know how to write this inference and that. No, no, it's something real. And that's the difference. For my career, have been a game changer to do the data talk courses. And I think I did the ML, but I did the data engineer one too. And awesome.
Okay. So you did the
You should
data
be
engineering
proud of
one
that.
too, right?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, you said so many good things about our courses. Like I think we just should cut it and use it testimonies and citation because you based our courses so well. Thank you very much for
No,
that.
but they are. Yeah, like I can tell you, the midterm in ML, my project was, and I think I we were coming from COVID, um, and I went to Mexico for a little bit, and I got access in the school to the one paper they wrote about how comorbidities could be bad for to die from COVID. And they have this paper and they have the data. And I have access to the data. And I was doing the at that time. And I decided to, you know what, more than the Jupyter notebook part, I gonna do the midterm with this data.
Mhm.
And I finished the project and I put the API and I told my other friends, hey, you can send the request and get the data. I put it, I think, in render. And everybody, oh, it's live, it's working. How'd you do it? And people with PhDs,
Mhm.
um, with masters, and it's like even masters in computer science, like you guys can do this. It's like,
Mhm.
but I remember when I was doing, yeah, I have all the knowledge. I did the masters in data analytics and data mining and inference, but we did everything in a Jupyter notebook, and you
Mhm.
write the result. It's just paper and Jupyter notebook. But when you finish the class or the project, nobody can use that. You have a
Mhm.
nice project. Nobody can use it. Nobody can interact with that. There's nothing. It's just in your computer. There's no use because if nobody uses your machine learning model, doesn't matter. And it's what DataTalk give you. Like now it will matter your stuff because you can put it there and you can put an API and say, hey guys, I make this project, just format the JSON this way, and you got the and well, you
Mhm.
have 3 months to use it because it's for free in Google Cloud for 3 months. Go ahead.
Mhm.
And the process that goes with that, because in Data Talks you teach how to use Google Cloud, how to set
Mhm.
up your VM, how to set up Anaconda and Docker
Mhm.
containers. Like you have everything there that the person that know how to write ML in a Jupyter notebook now finally can use it because my God, you are not getting that in university. Like you don't,
Yeah.
and it's not. And the courses on YouTube, no, they don't go that deep.
Yeah, thanks a lot for such kind words. Yeah, I think when it comes to machine learning, I remember my education.
Mm.
We just study how algorithms work. We implement algorithms. We do a lot of mathematics. But yeah, for me as an engineer, I want to make things available. And yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Mhm.
people use it, right?
Mhm.
Is the thing that I learned in Microchip without I wasn't looking for that, but I remember my supervisor telling me, "Oh yeah, it's good. You know how to predict that. How do I get that data? How do I get this result? Right? Because if nobody uses, like I don't care if you can predict something. Everybody needs to know and what's going on. And I was just doing that. But usually, um, the idea to know that before, because I was still was in school, and my supervisor was kind enough to guide me through the process, to help me out. I was the only one writing code in a team that everybody was something different, and was okay, right? That was just have that space that I could learn in the process. And he was like, "Hey, take the time that you need something, but we need to do it." But finally, you have a course that I'm still sometimes goes right. Even I was thinking the other day. I usually don't. run Terraforms, never. I go to the cloud and write, or and I do it manually because I think it's easier, and I just run it one or two instances. And I was like, oh, you know why? I need to automatize some stuff that I don't want to be
Mhm.
running all the time. I will need to use Terraform. Oh, I'm gonna go to Data Talks again. Let me go to the class. And I think is section 3 in the data engineering. And I go, I will take that week. Now I have everything that I need. And I know that if something comes out and it's a new technology, you are gonna have it there for sure. Or you can make some changes, or you can change this, and I can go there and learn that step. Even I took the course, the whole thing. I graduated. I have my certificate that I will show. Very happy. I'm very proud of that. Um, but I feel that I can go to the talks
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
refresh or learn something new, and that's awesome.
yeah. When it comes to Terraform, you said
Mm,
sometimes it's easier to just go to the web interface, click, click, click,
mm,
and get something. While it's true, these days what I found out is
mm,
sometimes I even feel lazy to do that. But because we have all these AI coding tools, I can ask Cursor or something else, hey, can you create me a Terraform file that does that? And it creates the file and you just apply and you get what you need.
mm.
Like it's so much faster
Oh
than
yeah.
opening the interface and then going through this. Because like you just all you need to do is just type the prompt, then hit enter, and then Copilot, Cursor, or whatever you use, um, Cloud Code, like they will just create a file. Some of them
Mm.
will even just apply the plan for you. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I use PyCharm and VS Code. Usually PyCharm more than VS Code. I feel that make my life easier if something goes wrong. Uh, and I think it's the same. It doesn't matter. And you have those AI
Yeah,
tools too there.
yeah. I
But
think
yeah,
JetBrains has a plugin, AI assistant. I even tried it, but I usually use VS Code. So for me, it was just okay. Let me try to see what is there in JetBrains. But then eventually, I went back to VS Code. But
yeah,
yeah, like these
I'm
tools
keep
are pretty cool.
yeah, I think I have the one I have is Gemini. I'm using more
Okay.
Gemini because I don't have limit in how many requests I can make it
Mhm.
to Gemini Flash.
Mm.
And I find that the difference is not that big between, like, now LLMs have become, I think, like cars.
Mhm.
It's like every one of them is gonna go from point A from point B.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like, which one do you prefer? Right? It's not
Yeah.
like ChatGPT is gonna be the one that's gonna solve your problems, but it depends what I'm asking. I use one, so one another. I think I
Yeah.
have both in my pie chart.
Yeah. I really like what you said. LLMs are just like cars now. I think there is a lot of truth in that. Do you remember what you did for your second project in the course, ML course?
I did. Is we use for that one, we use AWS Lambda, and I made like a butterfly classification thing. Um,
Was it an image classification model?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, with a TensorFlow Lite. I
Mhm.
think at the end we convert that one. It was a really good project.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
like
cool.
it.
Where did you get the data from?
I got the data from, I think, was Kaggle.
Uh-huh.
It was a huge amount of data. Was a lot of data. Was good. I think it was like a terabyte. Or, was a lot of pictures.
Hmm.
Um, but you work really well. I think they have, like, in that data set, like 50 different type
Oh.
of butterflies. Was a huge. I think they have like two data sets, maybe, or maybe 20. They have this one. Is one guy that have this data set butterfly that is like a light. Another one is the whole thing. And I think I downloaded the whole thing to have to make a better prediction. But at the end, I think could with TensorFlow could work well in neither of those. The 21
Mm,
on the small data
yeah.
set. The same thing you do in the course. Like you use the small data set with the clothing, and doesn't matter. Like
Hmm.
with the ResNet, I think 85 does a good
Yeah.
job for that. Yeah.
Yeah. This year
Mhm.
we'll do PyTorch in addition to TensorFlow. So if you're interested, you can check it out
Oh,
too.
maybe. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like PyTorch because it's too verbose.
Yeah, me too.
Mm,
Like I
mm,
also don't like it, but it seems right now it's more popular, and people have been constantly asking for an
mm,
update to switch to PyTorch, and I see that many students actually what they do is instead of using PyTorch or instead of using TensorFlow for the course module, they
mm.
redo it in PyTorch. And I thought, oh, I might just as well record a webinar and show how to do it in PyTorch.
No, maybe I will. I,
Yeah.
I think I'm a little not busy, and this one is them. I what I like of the ML is big, and you have like I did 3 projects at the end when I took them. I think something good. I did the middle, and I did the other 2 at the end. I did
Ah, they did 3 projects.
the yeah, because I think the other one I took one in that I liked. Was something about ADCs. I got the data set the same in a Kaggle competition. I download the data, and I remember going to the data to make the model. That was really interesting because more about the analytics part of the
Mhm,
project, to be able to analyze the data, to do more feature engineering and apply that and put it in, like I said, in the cloud is just awesome.
mhm. And yeah, another thing this year we will have is instead of using TensorFlow Lite, we will use ONNX, which is I think that it's kind of similar, but it works with TensorFlow, it works with PyTorch, it works with um, MXNet, it works with other frameworks.
Mhm.
So you train a model
Mm.
with some framework, you export it to ONNX, and then you can serve it with ONNX. So if you're interested, you can check it out too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we did quite a few updates this year.
That's good to know because
Yeah.
I think I could take it. I think I already have a couple of for projects that I didn't finish. You start doing something and you stop in the middle and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do something else. I
Happens to
can
me all the
use
time.
to finish that because
Yeah.
it's really good. As I said, if everybody that is watching, it's the best course you can take. You only have to take this one, and maybe you take another one in Data Talks, and you're good to go. You don't need to pay Data Talks, to pay Data Camp for a year to be able to
Mhm,
get this because it's the same. You're gonna have the knowledge. Those good platforms. You're gonna have the knowledge. You will be able to do everything in a Jupyter notebook and done. And when you finish,
mhm,
you're gonna be in the same place because the hardest part is not to make the model. Is for me is use the model to make the thing that you made for others to use to be able
mhm,
to deploy that.
mhm,
And in our field, it's more complex. Doing machine learning model is not enough anymore. You need to do all other stuff. Like you need to know Docker, and you need to know the database, and you need to know a little bit of cloud, and you need to be able to deploy that, and you need to know what a VM is, and all that stuff that is really important because at the end is the way you will solve the problem. The problem is not just to create the mail. The problem is to make everybody to know how to solve the problem. Like if you know how to solve the world hungriest people, everybody, and you don't tell that to anyone, still no solution.
mhm. Yeah. That's an interesting analogy. Do you remember what was the most difficult part for you in the course?
Mhm.
Module or?
I think that the hardest part was working with my M1 at that time. I'm
Okay.
assuming that this is gonna be different one because it's M4 now. I think I'm
Mhm,
assuming that it's gonna be different. But the hardest part was was that, and I remember having some issues with when the data set of the cars because um, I was coming from just doing the analytics part, and if I remember that data set, there's a bunch of cars, and I was doing the dummy uh, stuff with the data set to make serious ones. I was too big, and some cars you were able to have in the train set, but not in the test set. And I was getting that error over and over again because I wasn't doing it the way you do it in the videos. And I
Okay.
remember I was like, "What's going on? Why I have this error,
You
that
use these
error?"
pandas get dummies, right?
Yes, I was using the get dummies, and because
Yeah, that's
I'm
why I
some
don't use it.
yeah, and I remember one student from Brazil. He gave me a Python package that made the dummy things with numbers.
Mhm.
Um, and use I think KNN to
Okay.
to do that. I was really good because I used that one and worked, but I didn't have get the same result. And at the end, I went back and I did it the same way you did
Mhm.
it.
Okay. Okay.
Because I think the data set was too wide.
Hmm.
That column have too many variables.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that was the issue because it's not hard. Like if you have a week, you can do it. The other thing is like if you think that in 2 hours you're gonna do the homework and done, I think you are wrong
Yeah.
because the idea is not doing the homework. The homework is there to help you out to understand the thing you learn that you have
Hmm.
learned before. I usually did the code along with you. What was I know that was going to be like an hour and a half of videos, and after that I start doing the homework by myself. Try not doing without watching your videos,
Hmm.
and if you can, without ChatGPT or just with the documentation, and you have an issue like that one, like over and over again. Okay, yes, go back to the video and watch it. But it's what
Yeah, makes
wasn't
sense.
wasn't hard that impossible for me was hard enough to make me learn and learn new things, but not hard enough to make me like, I know I'm not gonna do this, right? Because it's too hard.
Hmm.
And wasn't easy enough, like, yeah, I'm not even want to watch the video, it's too easy. Like was that in that middle? Was a little bit
Hmm.
challenging, was like some stuff like way easier, but there's some stuff that was a little harder or not have to spend more time. Doing the cloud was maybe the things that I have to spend more time watching those videos slower, slow down the videos and do it with you because I didn't have the knowledge. But I think was very balanced. The course is very balanced. I think at level I was at that time. Like if you don't know Python, it's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
If you don't know any other programming language, if you don't know Java, it's gonna be simpler or C++, right?
Mhm.
But if you don't know anything, you will need to spend at least 5 hours a day and watch the video twice. But if
Mhm.
you are like middle, like advanced in Python, I think I strike the balance between the things you need to work a little harder, um, but it's not that hard that you just give up. And the Slack is awesome, right? The Slack in the community in Data Talks is just awesome. Not only with all those years, the question probably will be there in your Q&A, and the bot is going to answer with answer. But if not, somebody is answering you. Somebody's going to
Mhm.
tell you how they did it, and nobody's is going to give you the answer on top of that. Like it's like I wish we have this type of Slack in university.
Mhm.
We nobody comments anything. Maybe one comment, and after 3 weeks, somebody says something. But Slack is very fast. I remember having the questions, put it there, waiting 10 minutes, and have like 20 answers.
Okay, that's good.
Even I
Uh,
think we study a couple of times with some. with some guy in Brazil, we make like a study group like 2 or 3 times, and I
Mm.
remember talking with one person in Spanish that I couldn't understand something. He saw that when I was living in Mexico and asked me in Spanish directly. It was like, okay,
Mm.
it's good.
Okay.
Mm,
Well, we should be wrapping up. Maybe last thing I want to ask you.
mm,
Um,
mm,
how
mm,
did you manage to stay motivated? So
mm,
this is a long
mm,
course. There are some challenges,
mm, mm,
like the challenges you
mm,
described.
mm,
Um, and this is like it's from September till
mm,
end of January, so it's like
mm,
4 or 5 months. How did you manage to stay motivated? What you would recommend other people to also to stay
mm.
motivated?
For me, is the learning in public.
Mm.
Mm. Being in the Slack. The thing is having in the Slack people, sorry, answer the questions. You seen that message when the phone turned your screen, and people are doing it.
Hmm.
Just get that and think in 1 month I'm gonna be done, or in 2 months it's gonna be done. Because what you have to be thinking in this course is, when I finish, not only I will have at least 2 group projects to show to future employers, I'm gonna have a set of skills that I will be able now not only to do machine learning and to understand a little bit machine learning. I'm gonna be able to do something with that knowledge. As I said, I will be able to really solve a problem. I'm gonna be able to if I wanna, I don't know, predict something and give that to my neighbors. You will be able to say, okay, now I'm gonna do a project and I'm gonna put in a cloud and I give that to my neighbors. Hey guys, I'm gonna be predicting the weather, right? Not only Google whatever. I'm gonna this thing that's gonna predict the weather, and I'm gonna give that to the people around. Like I use it. Hey, you have this Google in top of that. My prediction is better, for example. I don't know, whatever you're gonna do. And now you can write a small application, simple application that really can solve a problem, and that's gonna help you to use it. Like, and that is something that you're gonna have at the end. And the feedback, please don't miss the feedback of your other students. Like, they're gonna put the projects, and you will learn a lot just to doing the evaluation of those projects, 3 projects. That's a huge learning there, because you have to put that in your computer, you have to run it, you have to reproduce that. That is something that happens in real life. Sometimes people don't think that it's important, but it is, because that happens a lot. And don't miss that, and don't miss the the community. If you for example feel like it's hard, just talk with people. You will see that it's never easy, because stuff happens, right? Life happens. Sometimes you get sick, sometimes you don't want to do it, because it's like, or sometimes maybe it's very hard for you. In that talk, just ask questions. Somebody's gonna answer that. It's like, it's not Alexei is gonna answer that. Somebody's gonna give you the answer, and gonna give you the resources to do it. And if you need, in my experience, somebody's gonna call you, and gonna go step by step for you. These other students will write some posts about whatever is going on in the course. Like, please just hang out in the Slack, and say, hey, I've been really hard, and you're gonna have all the support you need.
Yeah, and I'm really thankful for all the students who help each other. Because, like, if it was just me doing all the help, I would not be able to do this. But because when everyone is going through the same model, people are experiencing similar problems, and you share this with each other, you help each other. This is such a good. Not only this is a great thing to see, but also it helps me with my time, right? So I don't have to personally assist every single student when we have thousands of them, right?
Yeah, and as I said before, that is one of the distinctions, because like if you go and go to data camps and take a ML course there, it's good. They have a really good quality courses. I'm not saying anything, but it's gonna be only you. And when you finish, you really won't be able to have a project because you have to be working in their thing that is sanitized, that is like is ready for you to pass the thing, right? And get the certificate. It's good. I passed a lot of courses in data camp. But in data talks, you will have a real project with real data. We're gonna be messy. You have to do a bunch of stuff. You have to do the steps. And people will evaluate you and you will see what others is doing. And you have that support. And you will can watch the videos again and you can have the Slack. That is a huge difference. Like make really the course works. Like when somebody asks me, what should I take? Go to this page. Just take the courses and you will be fine. You will have all the knowledge you need. Now you don't have to watch endless hours of YouTube videos, random people telling you how to make a container. You only have to watch one, right?
Mhm.
It's what made me simple right now. To I don't if I want to learn something about like now, I'm gonna double check with Terraform. I'm not searching Terraform in in YouTube. I'm going to the talks, and I know it's the third module. I just go there. It's one stop, and I know it's gonna be good. It's gonna have a good quality, and I will be able to use it right away. Right?
Mhm.
Because it's gonna be real, not like some tutorial that is like when you finish, like I don't know anything. Right? It's the same thing that and it's the same tutorial with different people.
Mhm.
This
Exactly.
is really good.
Okay, thank you a
Mm.
lot. We should be wrapping up. Thanks a lot for joining us today, for sharing your experience with us, for
Mm.
telling us your story, um, about your career, about like how you discovered the course and how the course helped. And what I
Mm.
personally found very, how to say, what I personally liked a lot is all the nice things you said about the course. This is very pleasing to hear, but also I think this will be very helpful for us that when we edit this and we can make a bunch of posts on social media saying, hey, like this is the experience one of the course
Mm.
participants, Dashel, had,
Mm.
and join our course if you, yeah, if you want to have something similar. So this is very, very, very helpful. So thanks a lot for doing that.
No, thank you. I wasn't expecting never in my life, like after even taking the courses that you will um, contact me to talk about my experience. Like, but yeah, I have like really good things, and I think I said, and I tried to do something like in Spanish, not the same, because I think we have another issues in Latin America with English, because everything is in English,
Mhm.
right? In Spanish,
Yeah.
there, even when I was going to school there, was in English, and there's not a lot of stuff in Spanish, and I was doing some stuff in Spanish. That way, if you don't speak the language, you will be able to get the knowledge in a good quality. And that is has been the model. Well, okay, this is the way he's doing it, and it's really good. And I want to do something close to that, right? And when I received the email, I was like, really? And I told my wife, "Hey, they're gonna talk to me. That's
Mhm.
crazy." But yes, it's good. Is just that I think, and I've been a teacher. Like I taught classical music, software, Python, um, and that structure, having a little bit of model to with other knowledge, my knowledge of being a teacher, to use that to be more effective. That is sometimes I feel that is missing. Like some people are having a tutorial, but they don't have the knowledge how to inform the other person, to teach in a way that really helps. And that's sometimes a problem that people just, I can make a tutorial, but they really don't know the steps to do it, to use the right word, to the exercises. And with Data Talks, everything is like is there. The homeworks are just perfect. With the project, it's just perfect. And I was thinking, okay, this is a good way to do it that way, because teaching in schools, I have the usually you have the way you exercises you're gonna use, the book you're gonna use, and you are tied to that, right? And the way you do it is like I was thinking at some time, it's like I think he was a teacher or something, because he's doing a good job to move through this step. If like for me, what is if you've never been a teacher, right? It's hard.
Well,
And it,
technically I have a second degree. My second degree is English teacher, but we never studied things like that. I guess for me it's just something I was acquiring over
that you
time.
learn, yeah, that you learn in your job is like, yeah. And that I was right. Yeah,
Mm.
but like the job you have been doing is amazing with the with that. Actually I've been waiting for the next one is gonna be that you were asking for a new one, a new course about using React with machine learning or something like that. What
So
is
there
the
is
name?
AI dev tools, I guess.
Yes, that one. I was like been waiting for that. I know
Yeah.
React. I remember, but I just
So
want
we
to do
will
it
do
with
this in
you.
November. We will start it in November.
Yeah, I want to do it with you because I know it's gonna be good. It's like I'm waiting for that one, and I have a friend tell me, React, yeah, I can write some code. I can do it, but I
The-
know I'm gonna learn a bunch of new
Mhm.
stuff with
Yeah,
that
but the
course.
idea there is not to learn React, but more like use
Mm.
AI to write some React without even knowing React. So it's kind of vibe coding thing.
Oh,
So you
oh,
produce
by
some React code, but then at the end you don't really need to know React to write React applications. That's the idea.
uh,
I know it's kind of shallow, like at some point you will
mm,
need to learn React in order to make React applications, but you can get started without this knowledge, right? And then eventually,
mm.
uh, as you progress, as you build more and more applications, then you can start learning it.
But it's a
That's
good practice, and I think is good. I think one thing that happened with people is like they feel like they need to know more, or when you watch videos, you feel that you don't know anything. And one of the application I write in at Microchip that I told you in the beginning, I wrote those in a language. No, the name is GSL. It's a scripting language for a jump for software. Was a really I did like 3, 4 applications of those that they were using. They were happy to use. I don't know how to use it. If you ask me how ESL runs and how I don't remember. I don't know. Like now I don't even put that after using for 2 years in my resume. And I wrote like 4 or 5 applications. I don't know that, right? And it's
Mm.
something that
Yeah.
people need to start feeling more comfortable.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, okay, we should be wrapping up. Thanks a lot for doing that. And thanks everyone for joining us. Was fun. And yeah, so if you decide, join our updated models and we'll see you there soon.
Okay, I think I will. I think I will. I think I will.
Yeah.
Now the new
Yeah.
stuff, I will.
Yeah.